David Diamond composed his first string quartet in 1940 at the age of 26, 5 years after writing the Concerto for String Quartet. An earnest composer emerges in this fresh and unusual 16-minute quartet written in one continuous movement. The Ninth Quartet, the only other Diamond wrote in one movement from his lifetime's work with string quartet. The first quartet was rewarded and honored with a New York Music Critics Circle nomination the same year it was composed.
I was a resident at Yaddo, and there was a north farm, a farm which was part of the estate, and in that farm I lived with Catherine Ann Porter, the writer, and the other guests were fascinating people because many of them were refugees from Germany, and among them was this great, great writer, Hermann Broch. So the quartet, the first quartet, really is a work inspired by Mr. Broch's great novel called The Death of Virgil. He was working on it, finishing it then, and Jean Starr Untermeyer was doing the translation. So I would read the German and then the translation, and Broch would often ask me what I felt about the English, and I would tell him, but the work is such a moving novel. And so when I finished the quartet, I knew it was going to be dedicated to him because somehow the book itself, The Death of Virgil, inspired me.
Broch began to write what has been described as one of the great monuments of exile literature, when he was incarcerated in a concentration camp during World War II. He continued his work on the novel while at Yaddo in 1940. The Nazis had arrested Broch, born in Vienna into a well-to-do Jewish family, on the day Germany annexed Austria. Briefly detained, he was allowed to emigrate first to London, then to Scotland, and finally to the United States. Broch asked Diamond about the quality of English translation at the retreat, the composer understanding some German and offering his opinion. Diamond was moved by the book, and according to the 80-year-old composer, "When I finished the quartet, I just knew that it would be dedicated to him, because the book inspired me so very much." Certainly, Diamond got to know and admire Broch, described as fiercely moral, but unguarded and emotionally transparent during this period. In the interview for the liner notes, Diamond told me,
"I have never forgotten who those notes belong to. They don't belong to me. They come out of me, but they have to be directed at somebody else. I always remembered what Beethoven said, from heart to heart. That's where music belongs and where it goes. And if you don't think of your public and who is going to be your listener, then you're not much of a composer. The composer who composes for himself, or who thinks only in terms of, I want to write what I want to write, and that's it. I'm not saying that I write a music that is specifically composed to please people, but I write a music, and I've done it all my life, which I feel is the emotional equivalent of my respect for other human beings.